Today, we are going to be learning how to use a place value chart and compare different numbers on the place value chart. To begin with, we're going to start by just counting up some blocks, like this one on the screen. How many blocks are on the screen? Yes, there's one block. We can show this by putting one small circle in the ones place. We'll show one block, or ones, with a small circle. We could also write the number 1 down below. Now let's add more blocks and keep counting. Use a whisper voice to count with me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great, let's stop there. We have 10 blocks. But that's a lot of little pieces. What if I decided now I want to glue all of these blocks together so that they form one tall tower? How many blocks are in this entire tower? You can see that we used 10 blocks to make this tower. We could call it a 10. We can show this on our place value chart by grouping or gluing together all of our ones. Now on the screen, how many towers of blocks have I built? I only have this one tower, and so on my place value chart, my 10 ones turn into only one 10. Now, why do you think I drew my 10 in this shape? Raise your hand if you think you can explain. And why do we call this tower of cubes a 10? We can always show towers of 10 using this symbol. Now let's stop for a brain check. Answer these questions now. Let's keep counting. This time, instead of adding one block at a time, I'm going to add an entire tower. If I add an entire tower, how many blocks are there now? Yeah, there are 20, and we can keep counting. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now this is a lot of blocks, so I might decide to stop here and glue them all together again. How many blocks have I glued together? I've glued together 100 blocks. But now, how many towers of 10 did it take to get all 100 blocks? Well, you can see it took 1 tower, 2 towers, 3 towers, 4 towers, 5 towers, 6 towers, 7 towers, 8 towers, 9 towers, 10 towers. We could also see these 10 towers as our 10 tens on the place value chart. And just like before, I can take my 10 tens and instead write them as one large square, or 100. We can always draw hundreds this way. Now let's stop for another brain check. Answer these questions now. We're going to keep counting. Now, instead of adding one tower at a time, we are going to add an entire 100 square each time. Count with me. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. All right, 10 hundreds. That's a lot of blocks, so I'm going to stop again and glue them all together. How many blocks are in this entire giant cube? Well, we had 1,000, but you might have learned to say that a different way. What's another way that you can say 10 hundreds? Exactly, you can say it as 1,000. And let's think about how many squares of 100 it took to build this. Well, we can see it's a first, a second, 3, 4, 5, 6 hundreds, 7 squares, 8 squares, 9 squares, 10 squares. We can circle those 10 hundreds on our place value chart. And instead of having all 10 of them, we can bundle them together and make them into 1,000. Now normally we would draw 1,000 as a cube, but because we've already been using cubes as our blocks, we can show 1,000 as a star. Let's stop for another brain check. Answer these questions now. Now it's time to pull everything together. Let's think. One of these towers is equal to how many ones? Well, remember, 110 is equal to 10 ones. We can say with a multiplication sentence, 110 is equal to 10 groups of 1 1. Let's keep going. 100 is equal to how many tens? Well, remember, 100 is equal to 10 tens. So the multiplication sentence we can write here is that 100 is equal to 10 groups of 110. Finally, we might ask 1,000 is equal to how many hundreds? Well, remember, 1,000 is equal to 10 hundreds. We could say 1,000 is equal to 10 groups of 100. So altogether, we should start to see a pattern on our place value chart. You should start to recognize that on the place value chart, each place value is worth 10 times as much as the place value to its right. Tens are worth 10 times as much as ones. Hundreds are worth 10 times as much as tens. And thousands are worth 10 times as much as hundreds. Understanding this relationship will help us better use numbers. That's all for today.